So day 5 or 6, I'm not very sure, I lost count already. So we're here at the Airbnb at the Somme, and behind me you can see the church of Albert with the statue of Virgin Mary on there, which has a pretty cool story by the way. But yeah, we are going to Thiepval, and from there on we'll go to the Lochnagar mine crater, and today Delville Wood is also getting a visit from us. And yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Last full day here at the Somme, and tomorrow morning me and Sean will drive back to the airport. I'll drop him off and then I'm on my way home. So yeah, hope it's gonna be a good day. And there you see Chris in his natural habitat, doing research on history. Ooh. So we just arrived at Thiepval. Thiepval? Thiepval. So yeah, this is a memorial of the missing of the British soldiers here in the Somme, and there are 72,000.
Explain again.
Rob, yeah, explain it again. Explain it again.
So Thiepval Memorial is the memorial to the missing for more than 72,000 Commonwealth soldiers who were killed in this area. Named on the Somme, so they have no known grave. So some of them could well be buried in the cemeteries around the Somme in the unknown soldier graves, but they have no known grave, and so all of them are named here on Thiepval Memorial.
Nice, thank you, appreciate it.
No worries.
Couldn't have said it any better. So this is pretty cool. We're now at the visitor center of Thiepval, and look at this. That is so cool. That is really nice. All those faces. So we just entered the museum here at Thiepval, and yeah, Chris already bought like 5 more books.
No, I bought 3 here, 2 in April.
So he bought some books again. It's pretty funny, and yeah, there's some really cool stuff here as well. And helmets, a lot of shells. Here you can see a lot of those lead balls that we found on the battlefield. And I found as well one of those tubes. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it's the inside of the shell. Yeah, pretty cool. Maybe one of the German machine guns that a lot of British people got killed by during the 1st of July 1916. Man, these illustrations are also really cool. Yeah, I've already filmed it, yeah. And all these shrapnel pieces. And yesterday, when we were relic hunting, we found that grenade on the right. It's a German Model 17 egg grenade. But this one is a later model because it has the ring on it. And the earlier models, they didn't have that ring on the sides of the grenade. It was just flat and it was clean. So we found a Model 17 German hand grenade that was an early model. It was pretty cool. Now you can see why we find all those lead balls. That's pretty cool. As well as that middle thingy. Because that middle little bar pipe was on top of the shells, or inside the shells. Wow, that's really cool. French airplane. Here, look at this. Front line trenches, all those shell holes. Man, that's insane. So like I said, like if I needed to choose one war to absolutely not fight in, it would be World War I, 100%. Place where I started filming my documentary about the Somme. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's a pretty good documentary, if I say it myself, with a lot of map animations, a lot of information. And now when I am walking just a little bit further behind the tree, the monument will show itself. The memorial. There it is. It's huge. It's really cool. So look at that. That is really cool.
I was saying to him, oh, you're filming me. The size is really impressive, but I don't really like how it, the shape of it.
Stuff. Oh, yeah.
It's very impressive, but yeah, it's a strange design. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go insulting 72,000 soldiers, man. Come on, you're out of order.
I'm not I'm insulting the monument, not the names on it.
I know you don't.
Yeah, Marcel, you have two British people here, so what's your language? But no, it's really cool, man. Really impressive place.
72,000 though.
But I tell you what, man, these 72,000 guys would take you on. They would beat you.
All at once, probably.
Marcel's saying you get them lined up one at a time.
Yeah. Just, you can see now how big the monument is because Chris is walking there underneath it. Yeah. So on these side panels, these are full of names of the missing here at the Somme. So all around the whole thing, all those panels is completely full, inscripted with names. Yeah. The missing of the Somme. It's really hard to imagine that how many names are here on the walls. Like behind me here, this panel is completely covered in names, and yeah, just imagine all those names standing in front of you, then you would get a better perspective of how many people are missing here during the Battle of the Somme. It's just insane. It's really insane. Inside the memorial, and when you go back, you have a small cemetery of French and British or Commonwealth soldiers. You see in the background how cool this looks. Just what a beautiful place. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, we're just done here at the Thiepval Memorial. I made a little short video on my YouTube channel. I will roll it now. So I am here in the Somme in France, and I am standing next to the memorial in Thiepval. And this memorial is just insane. There are more than 72,000 names of missing soldiers of the Commonwealth here engraved in the walls. And it's a really insane memorial. It's really big. And yeah, a lot of them, probably around 90% of the names on the wall here, they died between July 1st, 1916 and around mid-November 1916, because those were the big attacks here at the Battle of the Somme in World War I. Just when you look at this, all these names, it's really insane. Like the whole memorial is full of it. 72,000 of them. That's real crazy. And yeah, we're heading off now to the Lochnagar Crater, which is a very, very cool sight to see. So I'll bring you guys with me. So Marcel, first time seeing this crater?
Yeah,
I want to film your reaction when you see it.
Whoa, yeah, it is big. Holy shit.
That's what she said.
Can you go down for
a photo? No, you can't. Well, you can, but only the people who work can go down, because sometimes they lay reefs inside the
well, you can see them.
Inside the crater. Yeah, that is really crazy. Rob, you've been here before, right?
Yeah, man.
Sean, I want to film your reaction.
Fucking hell.
50,000 pounds of ammo explosives were used.
You imagine being on the tail end of that, man.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
You probably wouldn't know that you were on the tail end of it.
No.
First you knew of it, you'd be gone, right?
Right on the other side of the village here is there were two more. Wysap and the Glory Hole.
So the thing is, over there, that's where they dig the tunnels from, towards this side, and there you see the end results.
Just imagine how many bodies are still on. You sending your drone up, Sander?
Yeah. I already made a lot of footage here. I can send it to you. So yeah, we're standing now here at the Lochnagar Crater, and I told a lot about this in my documentary as well. I will cut out a clip and show it to you guys now. At 07:27 AM, 2 mines were also exploded north of Carnoy on the 8th Corps front. At 07:28 AM, 3 mines were detonated on the 15th Corps front under the German position, known as the Tambour, towards the west of Fricourt. And 4 small mines were detonated under the German lines at a place called the Hidden Wood, between Fricourt and Mametz. And also, at the same time as the previous mines, at 07:28 AM, 2 very large mines were detonated on the 3rd Corps front on both sides of the Albert Papin road. The mine on the northern side of the road was at a position called Wysap. It contained 40,600 pounds of ammonal and was at the end of a 1,030 feet long gallery, the longest ever driven into chalk during the First World War. The mine on the southern side of the road near La Boisselle was at a position known as Lochnagar. It contained of around 60,000 pounds of ammonal explosives. It was split in between 2 charges around 52 feet deep. And I also got some very nice drone footage here, which I will show you as well, or it's in the clip, but yeah, it's just crazy like the amount of ammonal explosives that were used to blow up this crater is insane. And behind me there you can see a forest, and from that forest they dug tunnels underneath the ground all the way to this crater.
Crazy.
So in the distance, Marcel just pointed out, you can see Albert, the church with Virgin Mary on there. Crazy. You can see how high the Lochnagar Crater is, because yeah, we're just as high as the top of the church there. Pretty cool.
Good find.
Sean, is this very impressive?
Yeah, it is very impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? How big it is. Sadly, on camera
It's just the effort that went into it as well, you know. Months and months of tunnelling, preparation, moving the explosives in. And then just the carnage of it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that all of the duck boards have the names?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes all the way around. Yeah, okay, now you can get a little bit of a perspective. Chris was just disappeared. You can get a little bit of a better perspective on how big this is. This is pretty cool. The empty chair. That's the name. So it symbolizes the void left that in so many homes across the world following the immeasurable loss of life during the Great War. Wow. Pretty powerful, just an empty chair there. And when you know the meaning of it.
So here at the Lochnagar Crater, we're at about the position of the German frontline trench, which would have run along this way. And there was a major kind of fortified area called the Scots Redoubt that was off in the distance there. And the division that was attacking here, you had the 10th Lincolns on our right, and next to them were the Royal Scots. And what happened was when the bomb exploded, the mine exploded at 7:28, the attack was supposed to go immediately afterwards. But the guys in the 10th Lincolns, these are new soldiers, these are PALS battalions, they haven't really experienced much combat. They waited because they were afraid of falling debris from the mine. So they held off and they didn't start advancing. Well, the Royal Scots on their right did advance. And so as they advanced, they got exposed to enfilading fire by the German machine guns. And so instead of going straight forward as they were supposed to, they started veering off to the right, and they ended up wandering into the next division over. And it just caused a lot of confusion. There were a ton of casualties here in Sausage Valley. But the Royal Scots, which one of those units, the 16th Royal Scots, that's McRae's battalion. These are the footballers, professional soccer players, we would call them in America. And they end up not only making it through, they get up and over that ridge, and they find some safe area to kind of regroup, and the ones that are left surviving move on to Contalmaison. It's one of the furthest advances that any of the British forces make on July 1st.
Wow. Yeah, so that tree line, that was the British trench line positions, and here, literally where we are standing, was the Germans, and it was around 500 yards, you said, right? Yeah, a difference between a distance of 500 yards, and the British started tunneling from all the way that forest into here, and then set off that big mine behind us.
Just to film this clip.
You can borrow mine as well if you want.
Anyone's, man, I don't mind. I don't. Yeah. Just see if that picks up.
Doing it on.
Wow. That one's pretty beautiful. I think that's one of the bad ones. If you touch it, you're screwed. So yeah, I'm going to leave the Lochnagar Crater now. But yeah, it's a crazy sight. It's one of, like I said, the Sunken Lane, and this place is one of my favorite places, especially because this is just immensely huge. That's what she said. Oh, the crater. But yeah, it's a really cool sight. As well, if you come to the Somme, this is a must-visit place to visit it and see it for yourself. Wow, this memorial plaque is pretty cool. You can see the saps and the tunnelers underneath the ground. Yeah, it's really cool. You can see he has a listening device to listen if the Germans are tunneling as well. Wow. And that's what people also don't think about very often, is when they are tunneling, they have to bring back all that rubble from the tunnel itself. They have to bring it all the way back out to the beginning of the tunnel and store it somewhere outside of the tunnel. And you can see that depicted here. So just imagine you have the 500 yards from that forest all the way over here, and you need to bring back all that rubble to the entrance of the tunnel. So now we are off to... Wait, before I tell you that. Behind here, these were the German trenches. And sometimes in the Somme landscape, because the ground is very chalky, you can still see, I probably can show you that with some drone footage, you can still see the sort of markings where the trenches were, which is pretty cool. So we are going now to the Devonshire Cemetery, the Devonshire Trench. We're visiting that because Sean, he's from the Devons County. So people who live in his area, they fought there and they are laying there in that cemetery. So
the Devonshires,
yeah.
Home county.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a sombering one, I think, but be good.
Yes.
Good.
Hey, Rob.
You're filming? Right. So, on the first day of the Somme, the British front lines ran from this direction over this hill and then got to this area here. So this was known as Mansell Copse. And the trenches came across and then did like a funny right angle where they came along here towards us and then across here behind me and then down the slope and over where you can see the small cemetery over there. That's the Gordon Cemetery. And then they went up the hill on the far side. You guys have watched the documentary. Charlie May, he left a trench that was up on the top of the hill over there, attacking across here to Mametz. And this trench here is where the 8th and 9th Devonshires were. They attacked from a trench right here, and they had to go across this valley. So you see how the land like opens up and slopes up the other side?
Yeah.
And when we get into the cemetery, you'll see, we'll talk about Captain Duncan Martin, who before the battle here, he talked about his reservations, and in fact he made a plasticine model of the battlefield, to kind of demonstrate to senior officers, look, based on the land and where we're going to attack from. And he picked out a specific machine gun in a place called the Shrine, and he felt that with this valley, that machine gun was going to have devastating effects. And that machine gun was based, if you look across, you can see the farm buildings, just slightly to the right of the farm buildings, there's some trees. Well, that's a cemetery. It's the civilian cemetery of Vets, and the machine gun he was talking about was based right there.
Oh.
And really the rest of the story needs to be told in the cemetery up the hill.
Okay, let's go to the cemetery then. So, what Rob just told us, the trench went just round here, just as these steps, and then it went all the way down that way.
Memorial buried here.
So this is pretty cool, it's really nice. The Devonshires held this trench, the Devonshires hold it still. That's really powerful. The 1st of July 1916, the 8th and the 9th Devonshire suffered very heavy casualties as they left their forward trench to attack. Later that day, the survivors buried their fallen comrades in that same trench and erected a wooden memorial with the words which are carved in the cross above. So yeah, like I said, this is Sean's home county, and for him this is of course a very special moment walking here now, seeing all his countrymen, especially his countymen, laying here. So of course when you think about it in this way, if Sean would have been born in the 1900s or at the end of the 1800s, he would probably be fighting here in this area if he would join the military, and you would never know, maybe one of these graves could have said Sean Wells, which is just insane to think about. And all these graves are from the 1st of July 1916, the first day of the Somme.
Action!
I was barely ready. Go on then. Right, okay. So the guy who we were just talking about with the plasticine model and the prediction of the what could potentially happen here. So first day of the Somme, the trenches ran along this tree line and then took a right turn and went along the length of the cemetery that we're stood in right now. Now there was a massive build-up of guys who came into this, of course, in preparation for the attack. Now the Germans noticed that, and so they put down artillery fire onto the British frontline trench. Because of that, the decision was made that the guys should move back and attack from their reserve line trench. So they left a trench that was up here at the top of this mound, and you can see how it slopes down towards us. Now, of course, if you remember at the time, these trees weren't here. So when those guys left that reserve line trench, they had to come down this slope in the open with the German lines on the other side of the valley. And during that attack, Captain Duncan Martin, exactly as predicted, was killed by possibly machine gun fire, possibly from the machine gun he predicted, or maybe from rifle fire. But Captain Duncan Martin was killed before he even reached back to his own frontline trench. So he was killed somewhere out here in the field behind us, and his grave is here in the Devonshire Cemetery. Captain Duncan Martin.
So a lot of guys on the Western Front, they were writers, or they turned to writing to express their feelings. And Lieutenant William Noel Hodgson was one of those men, and he wrote a poem called Before Action as he was anticipating the attack that was going to come here. And 2 days before the attack on July 1st, his poem was published back in Britain. By all the glories of the day and the cool evening's benison, by that last sunset touch that lay upon the hills when the day is done, by beauty lavishly outpoured and blessings carelessly received, by all the days that I have lived, make me a soldier, O Lord. By all of man's hopes and fears and all the wonders poets sing, the laughter of unclouded years and every sad and lovely thing, by the romantic ages stored, with high endeavor that was his, by all his mad catastrophes, make me a man, O Lord. I that on my familiar hill saw with uncomprehending eyes 100 of thy sunsets spill, their fresh and sanguine sacrifice ere the sun swings his noonday sword, must say goodbye to all of this, by all the delights that I shall miss. Help me to die, O Lord.
Wow.
He came out, he got beyond, so he did get back to the front line, pushed on beyond the front line, and I think, as best as people have worked out, so he was part of a bombing unit, so he was, after the first guys had got in the trench, he was sent in to bomb out the trench and the dugouts and stuff, and as he was crossing no man's land, so I think in like the valley, kind of in this direction, I think he was killed just out there somewhere.
Yeah, beautiful poem, man.
Oh,
really
great.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is about him just recognizing all the things he took for granted.
Yeah.
Only now when he knows his life's about to end. You know, talking about just how many sunsets he'd never appreciated.
Yeah.
Just kind of preparing himself. And a lot of these guys did that. They kind of, I mean, everybody probably had to come to terms with the possibility that they could die, but some of them just knew. Knew that they were about to die.
Now we're looking for a specific man, H. Holman. He should be laying somewhere here, and he is from Exmouth, you said, right?
He might not be here, it's just the dates match up and it's the right battalion.
Holman.
From 8 or 9?
8.
8.
What's his name?
Holman.
H. Holman.
Yeah, here.
Right
He's
there?
over here.
The next one, fight.
Oh, there you go.
He's from Exmouth, from your hometown.
Yeah.
Looks like one of the newer sounds too.
Yeah, that's him. Private Harry Holman of the 8th Battalion of Devonshire Regiment, son of Richard and Louisa Holman of Bicton Street, Exmouth. Born in Exmouth, 1890, died 1st of July 1916, aged 26.
He was an old man in the unit compared to a lot of these.
15881. Yeah, that's him. 15881.
So this actual cemetery, so because this was one of the sections where so they had some success here, right? So they captured the objectives at Mametz and Montauban to the south. So this was one of the areas where they were able to clear the battlefield like the day after the attack or the same day. And so I think it was the next day there was a priest who was with
Like the chaplain. For the unit,
chaplain, who was with the Devonshire Regiment, who went out into no man's land and collected up a load of these guys, and he brought them back here and buried them in the trench, and that's why they're all here, and that's why the plaque is on the front.
I found one.
Yeah. Happy or no?
Found one. Well, when I get home, I'm going to go to the War Memorial in my town and I'll photo his name there.
So you found another one from your hometown?
Yeah, F.J. Matthews, 20085.
Yeah.
Private Frederick J. Matthews of the 9th Battalion of Devonshire Regiment.
Yeah, that's him.
Son of Anne and the late Frederick Matthews of New Street, Exmouth. Born in Exmouth, 1895, died 1st of July.
So he's 19?
He's aged 21.
21?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you photo? Wow.
That's really cool, man. That's awesome, so on the spot.
Can you photo that with your camera as well?
Yeah. So Rob, what did you tell us just now?
So we've just driven up the road. We were at the Devonshire Cemetery, and we've driven back a little bit further out from Mametz, and out here in the field, my great granddad, Oswald Davies Clark, he was out here serving with the Royal Field Artillery, somewhere out here in the fields on the first day of the Somme.
Wow, it's crazy. So up there on that ridge, that's where around there, that's where the cemetery or where the artillery was set up.